What is up, my loves? In today's video, I'm going to be telling you a conversation that I had with a client, and then I'm going to be telling you about myself, and we're going to wrap all of this up. It's going to come full circle powerfully, and the overarching message is going to be that you don't need to convince people to love you. You don't need to convince them to buy from you. You don't need to convince them to hire you. You do not have to convince people of something. You don't have to convince people to get, to buy, to invest in something that they already want. So when you're in an energy of convincing, you're actually approaching people and business and relationships from the perspective that you're not wanted, that you're not good enough, that you're not desirable. So I'm going to give you some real life examples of what it looks like and what it feels like to be trying to convince people. And then I'm going to give you some mindset shifts that are going to knock your fucking socks off. Okay. So let's get into it. I had a client call the other week, and she got on, lovely woman. She got on and she was talking about this man that she is wanting to see more frequently, wanting to connect with. She's talking about the relationship. She's talking about the connection. And she is like, I can do this for him. I can help him in this way. I can help him in this way. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And, I can help him in this way. And he can't do this. So I can do this. And I can do this. And I can help him with his kids. And I can do this. And you know what I'm saying? She's going on this rampage about all of the things that she can do for him. And then she ends the rampage by saying, but I don't only want him to take advantage of me because I can do these things. And so it's like, that's interesting. And that's a reflection of the stories that you're telling yourself. That's a reflection of something or several things that are alive within you. So I want to unpack that a little bit. Okay, so first things first. I'm going to give myself as an example. So we're going to come back to the client example. I'm going to give myself as an example. The reason why you as a man should love me and marry me and commit to me for the rest of your life is because I have been walking around my house for at least the past week saying, Natalie Hughes, the girl who loves Jamaicans? I cannot believe that I'm telling you guys this right now, but I believe in honesty, and it really powerfully serves the point that I'm making, okay? So the reason why I've been telling myself that and making myself laugh so fucking hard, if you had a camera and you could watch me all day, you would literally see me going from room to room in my house, in my fucking swimming pool, saying, Natalie Hughes, the girl who loves Jamaicans, and laughing out loud every single fucking time. Okay, let's talk about why. So it's not a fetish. It's not a fetish. It's the opposite of a fetish, actually. Okay, so I have a dating history that we won't talk about. There's a new man in my life, and he is kind of sort of Jamaican. And so I when I learned that this man was kind of sort of Jamaican, I felt resistance come up within me because of my previous romantic history, which we will not talk about. And so when I felt that resistance coming up, in response to his Jamaican heritage, I said, okay, we need to transmute this. I need to shift this. I need to elevate this. I need to align my energy in a better feeling way. And so I started shifting it, and I make everything into a joke. And I'm like, me, I love Jamaicans. Okay, and I have to give you a little bit more backstory. Oh my God, I have so much lore. Is that how the kids call it? I have so much lore. Okay, so a little bit more backstory. There's a movie. The movie is called House Bunny. Okay, so the movie is called House Bunny with Anna Faris. That's the white girl from Scary Movie. Love her down. Okay, so the movie is called House Bunny, and in the movie, she is like a sorority mother, and she like meets this guy, and this guy is like more like nerdy or whatever, and she's like pretending to be like an intellectual girl so that way he'll like her or whatever. Actually, this is the perfect fucking example, isn't it, for what we're talking about today. So she's pretending like she's not this like blonde bimbo, right? So she's on a date, and the guy that she's dating is like, oh yeah, I hate when girls blah 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 whatever. And then Anna's character is like, oh yeah, those girls are just all boobs and no brains. Like, she's like, I hate girls like that, but she's a girl like that, right? And so I really love that kind of joke. I don't know what that's called, but I really love that joke because I also walk around the house saying, I hate people who work at the bank. Shh, I work at the bank. If you don't know that TikTok, it doesn't matter. I am speeding it up because I don't want this audio to be an hour long. Okay, let's talk about it. So there's that house bunny joke, which is like, oh yeah, those girls are all boobs and no brains, right? She's talking about herself, but she's putting herself down. She's pretending that she's not who she is so that the guy will like her. And so I walk around and I make that joke about myself often. When I see something about myself, or, it's something that's supposed to be negative about me, and I'm pretending that I'm rejecting it. I'm not actually rejecting it, but I'm pretending that I'm rejecting it for a joke. And I'm like, oh yeah, those girls are all boobs and no brains. So I laugh about it all day, right? And so that's kind of the energy where I learned that the guy is kind of sort of a little bit Jamaican. And I go, I love Jamaicans. It's so crazy that you, it's so crazy that you would be Jamaican because I love Jamaicans. Ask anybody. Ask anybody. You ask around. Ask a random stranger. You could call my ancestors up and ask them. And they will tell you, Natalie Hughes. What do I know about Natalie Hughes? When I think of Natalie Hughes, I think of Jamaican lover. Like, and it's funny. It's funny because that is not my life experience. It's funny because it is not the truth. And it's not like I had a prejudice against anyone. Of course not. That would be ignorant. But the point is that learning about his heritage triggered that old story and blah, blah, blah. And so as I released that old story, I shifted that trigger into something that is a source of joy and love and excitement and humor for me. And so it's now become this joke. Like, I love Jamaican people so much. Like, I love Jamaican culture. Like, me? You ask anybody. All my life. And it's really funny, okay? And maybe if you don't know my dating history, maybe if you haven't been around for a couple years, maybe if you're not my close friend, then you really don't understand. But if you really knew me, like, you would really be pissing yourself laughing right now, okay? It's very funny. So just trust me and believe me if you are not in the know. But that's the reason why you should love me. That's the reason why you should marry me. Because I love Jamaicans. But not actually. It's because I can find the humor in anything. It's because no matter what happens in my life, there's no situation or circumstance or experience that could ever permanently dim my light, make me willing to play small, or impact my willingness to open my heart up to love again. The reason why you should love me and spend the rest of your life with me is because I am the queen of bouncing back. I'm the queen of growing and expanding and healing and taking some really traumatizing shit. If you had if you knew every single thing that happened and everything that I had to overcome with that, the idea and concept of me taking that terrible, horrible, shitty, traumatizing experience and turning it into, I fucking love Jamaican people. Like, and it just being this ongoing joke and this ongoing source of joy in my life, like, that's not a small feat. You know what I mean? That's not a little thing to do. And that's why you should love me. That's why you should be in love with me. That's why you should marry me. That's why you should want to spend the rest of your life with me, because that's who I am as a human being. And I also know, so there's that, right? No, hold on. Let me pause and let me just actually expand on that a little bit more without the Jamaican jokes. I'm sorry, I'm so funny. I really love alliteration. Okay, focus. So, I'm finding it. I'm finding my words. Convincing. Now we have to talk about the movie Matilda. And it's all going to make sense. I promise. I'm trying to go as fast as I can, but I got to put my little jokey jokes in there. Okay. So there's a movie. It's called Matilda, one of the greatest movies of all time. You've never seen it? Go watch it. It's really good. So in Matilda, there's the father, and the father is a con man. He is a used car salesman. And so he's got these cars that are terrible and beaten down and beaten up or what the fuck ever. I don't know anything about cars, girl, okay? The cars just are not good. I don't know why they're not good. I just know that they're not good. So he's got these cars and they're not good. And he's, trying to convince people to buy them. You got to get this car. You got to have this car. I don't want you to see that the radiator's broken. So I'm going to show you the defibrillator. That's a medical tool. It doesn't matter. I don't know anything about cars. Just follow me, okay? And just pretend. You got to look at the tires and there's no steering wheel inside of the car, right? I'm trying to distract you from the things that's really wrong with the fucking car. Look at all this shiny new paint on the car, and there's no fucking engine inside of the goddamn car. I'm trying to distract you from all of the things that are fucked up with the car so that you'll buy the car and, ignore the fact that there's no engine. Ignore the fact that there's no gas tank. Ignore the fact that it doesn't run at all. Ignore the fact that it backfires like a motherfucker. And just enjoy the paint. You sold it. The car's yours. You can't get rid of it now. Ha ha. Like, you know what I mean? That's convincing. I'm trying to convince you to buy this car because it's really a piece of shit car. So I gotta work hard because if you knew the truth about this car, you wouldn't want this car. That's the energy of convincing. And so take it back to the client that I was meeting with. She was in the energy of convincing. It's not that she's a beat up old car. It's that she thinks she's a beat up old car. Are you following me? It's not that she's not an amazing, beautiful, accomplished young woman, because she deeply and truly is. It's that she sees herself like a beat up old car. She sees herself as something that is missing pieces, as something that is broken, as something that is unlovable, as something that is unworthy. And she's trying to overcompensate by that. Don't look at my feelings of unworthiness. Don't look at the thing that makes me broken. Don't look at the thing that makes me not good enough. Instead, look at the ways that I can help you in your career. Look at the ways that I can help you raise your kids. Look at the ways that I can do this and this and this. Look at what I can do for you. Look at what I can do for you. Look at what I can do for you. Convincing. But you don't have to convince someone to get something that they actually want. I'll give you an example. I'm buying a Mercedes. Amen. Hallelujah. I'm buying a Mercedes. I went to the Mercedes dealership to test drive the car. I loved that fucking car. It wasn't even the model that I wanted. It had the interior that I wanted, the updated interior, but it's not the actual car model that I wanted. Still, I loved that fucking car. I loved the drive of the car. I loved the feel of the steering wheel. I loved that my hands smelled like the leather for an extended amount of time after I had taken the test drive. Oh my God. I love that leather smell. One of my favorite perfumes is Santal 33 by Le Labo. And I also love Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. I really love the fucking smell of leather. Don't even go there. Don't even make a joke. Don't even do it. Let's move on. The point is, I get in the car and I'm like, oh, this is nice. I love the feel. I love that expansiveness. We start driving the car. Oh, I fucking love this car. I love the way that it feels to drive this car. It's one of those cars like, that episode of SpongeBob where he's like going to boating school or whatever. And then he like bursts his big toe out of his shoe to slightly touch the pedal to the gas, and it's one of those cars, Mercedes and also Audi, possibly Audi even more than Mercedes, where all you do is like touch that gas pedal a little bit and you're fucking out of here. You're zooming, girl. Like, you're going so fast. And I love to go fast. And also in alignment with the speed limit. I love to abide the law. When you think Natalie Hughes, you think law-abiding citizen. When you think Natalie Hughes, you think girl that follows the rules and regulations of traffic. You think girl that loves to follow the law. You think girl that loves the law. Anyway, so... Okay, so what's the point? The point is, the guy did not have to talk too much. The salesman guy didn't have to talk too much. Actually, it would have been better if he had shut the fuck up. Because he's like, well, you don't really need AMG unless you're going to be doing blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up and let me do what I like. Shut the hell up and let me spend the money that I want to spend. Thank you, brother. It actually would be even better if you would be quiet, because I already want this. And it sounds like you're trying to talk me out of it. Approaching me from the perspective of, this is how to save money. This is how to spend less. I didn't come to the Mercedes dealership to save money and spend less. Hello. This is Mercedes, not Walmart. Please, please. And that's the energy and that's the vibe. He didn't have to sell me the car. He didn't have to convince me to buy the car. I like the car. I get in the car. We turn on the radio of the car. I don't have to put Beyonce on the radio. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can imagine. I can see myself driving down the highway, Pacific Coast Highway to be specific, in my Mercedes, driving the speed limit, because I love to abide by the law. I love Jamaicans and I love driving the speed limit. Okay. Okay, breathe, please. I do not want to go over 20 minutes. Okay, so what's the point? The point is, I could see myself in the car. I could see myself driving down the highway, excuse me. And I can see myself listening to Beyonce, and I love this fucking stereo. I love the fucking sound. I love the feel of the car. I love the drive of the car. I love the look of the car. I love the stereo. These are the things that are most important to me as a woman. I know that Mercedes is high quality because of its reputation. So I already trust this brand. You do not have to sell me on this fucking car. I already I wanted it. And that's why I came to the dealership to look at it and to get into it. This is just me confirming what I already knew to be true, which is that I want this motherfucking car. I know who I am. I know what I want. I'm ready to buy this vehicle. You did not have to convince me to buy this car. There's nothing so fucked up and damaged about this vehicle that you have to be hiding something and trying to, do like a fucking sleight of hand trick and convince me to look at the exterior because there's a whole bunch of fucked up things going on with the interior. You don't have to do that because it's not a sleazy car. You're not a sleazy car salesman. You don't have to convince me of something I already want. And this is the same thing in business. Whether you are getting jobs in corporate or you are working with companies as an independent contractor, you have clients, or you are selling courses, you're selling services. You do not have to convince anyone. Your job as a salesperson is not to convince anyone. Your job as a woman looking for a husband is not to convince a man to want you, not to convince a man to like you. When I met with that client and she was going on and on about, I'm going to help him in his career in this way, and I'm going to help him in his career in that way, and I'm going to do this, and I can do this, and we can do this together. I thought it was beautiful because I too am a woman with a plan. And when I think about a man, I think about our future together. I think about the ways that I could support him. I think about the ways that he could support me. There's nothing wrong with having a vision. There's nothing wrong with what she said, but it was what was underneath what she was saying. It was what What stories were going on in her subconscious mind that were at the root of what she was saying? Are you understanding me? When I'm talking about myself, I'm saying I'm a lovely woman. I love myself. I enjoy myself. I like myself. I like being around myself. I like spending time with myself. I feel deeply and completely loved by my ancestors. And as a man, when you come into my life, you're going to flourish. You're going to grow. You're going to expand, because that's what happens when I pour my love into people. And I know that that's what happens because I've poured my love into myself and I've poured my love into my clients. I have another client who we've been working together for 2 months, and she looks completely fucking different. In 2 months, her appearance has changed drastically. Like, literally, she is glowing in her skin after 2 months of us working together. She's also a completely different person. And it's because I show up for her. It's because I love her in the way that I love myself. I am a completely different person than I was 2 years ago. I was looking at my bank statements the other day. 2 years ago in 2022, my October bank statements, I ended the month with like negative $17. I made $0 and I ended the month with negative $17 in my bank account in October of 2022. In October of 2024, 2 years later, that has drastically fucking improved. And the month is not over. Because I showed up for myself. I loved myself. I poured into myself. I fought for myself. Men who I have been connected to over the years, men who I have loved from a distance, they grow, they thrive, they elevate. Can you imagine what it would be like to sleep in the same bed as me? Men that I love from a fucking distance grow and elevate and heal. Can you imagine what it would be like to really be deeply and completely connected to me? To really experience that closeness and intimacy with me? Can you imagine what the fuck that would be like? I can imagine because I've experienced it myself. It's fabulous. I'd recommend it. But at the same exact time, I know myself and I know my value and I know who I am and I know what I have to offer. And so then there's this like awareness of the shit that I'm too good for. I'm so amazing and I'm so wonderful and I'm so fabulous and I know me. And anybody who has eyes to hear, nope, I knew that was going to come out fucked up. Anybody who has eyes to see or ears to hear can tell that I am an amazing fucking woman. Anybody who has eyes to see or ears to hear can tell that I've done powerful work in my life. Anybody who has eyes to see or ears to hear can tell that I have done some serious fucking healing in my life. Anybody who has eyes to see or ears to hear can tell that I have grown, I have established so much in my business. You don't have to look at my bank statements. You can go to my YouTube channel and you can scroll down to the earliest fucking videos to see where I was and what I was learning and what I was mastering and how I was teaching and how things have grown and expanded. When you get inside of the free resource library, you can look at the EFT tapping series that I had done in like 2022 versus my EFT tapping for today. The scripts are different. I don't hate the ones from 2022. They're good. They're helpful. They're not my favorite thing in the world, but I'm so much better today. And so you can see that difference. And that's a drastic difference that comes as a consequence of consistent practice, consistent showing up, consistent learning, consistent figuring out what works, getting better and better and better and better. So you can see me grow over time. So when I say anybody who has eyes to hear, why do you keep saying that? Anybody who has eyes to see and ears to hear can tell that I'm the shit. In business, you can tell that I'm the shit. My courses, the Receiver's Mindset, which is open right now, enrollment closes November 3rd. You can listen to me talk on my podcast. You can watch my YouTube videos and listen to the sound of my voice. You can tell that when you come into my energy, you come into my presence, you feel better and you feel more elevated than when you listen to a lot of other readers. It's not that they're not good enough. It's not blah, 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 blah. My frequency is much higher because I've done the fucking work to heal. What can I say? To my own horn, it's the truth. And that just is what it is. So you come into my world and you know that I'm the shit. You come into my world and you know that I've done significant healing work. You come into my world and you know that I'm good at what I fucking do. You come into my world and you know that women get amazing results when they work for me. I have several testimonials. The testimonials are being added more and more every single day. You come into my world, it's very obvious that I can serve you. If you come into my world and you don't get into the free resource library, that's a you problem. If you come into my world and you do not invest in yourself through the Receiver's Mindset course, that's a you problem. My proof is in my pudding. My proof is in how I live. The brand is the brand. This is Mercedes. You don't want Mercedes, there's nothing we can do for you at this dealership. It's the same in business. It's the same in romance. This is the girl. She loves Jamaicans. You're not looking for a funny, silly goose who's also a fucking brilliant businesswoman on her spiritual guru shit. You don't want that. That's not what you want. That's not what you desire. You're at the wrong dealership, brother. What else can I say? The price is the price. What she wants is what she wants. A deeply committed relationship. You're not emotionally available. You don't want to fight to express how you feel and show up for her and show up for the connection. There's nothing that we can do for you. We're not going to make a deal today. Thank you for coming to the Mercedes dealership. Like, that's it. There is no convincing. There is no, oh my God, no, don't leave this lot. Don't you understand the things that I could do for you and the ways that your life could be changed? No. Because anybody who has eyes to see or ears to hear can see that I'm an amazing woman. Anybody who has eyes to see or ears to hear can see that I'm a powerful fucking teacher. Anybody who has eyes to see or ears to hear can tell that I'm really about that fucking life. I'm really about showing up for myself. I'm really about serving powerfully in my community. I'm really about helping women and supporting them to elevate. I'm really about pouring love into men and having deep, genuine, authentic love and connection and partnership and happy family and generational wealth and generational happiness and generational abundance of creative self-expression and generational abundance of living out our lives' purposes. Anybody who has eyes to see and ears to hear can tell that I am genuinely and authentically about that. So if that is not what you're interested in, if that's not what you're committed to, if that's not what you're willing to fight for, baby, that is a you problem. If the guy's not showing up and fighting for the relationship and the connection with me, that is outside of my jurisdiction. That is not my job. That is not my problem. The Mercedes dealership is not chasing me down the street going, hey girl, can we take a look at your finances and see how we can get you inside of this car? No. You either qualify for the car or you're going to buy the car cash or you're not driving off the lot today. It is what it is. You want to level up in your life? You want to develop the receiver's mindset? You want to be the woman who receives on demand? You want to be the woman who has self-fucking worth? You want to be the woman who loves herself and it's not some superficial bullshit, but it's really who you are and how you live and what you fucking embody, and you get what you want when you want it because that's who you are and that's what the fuck you were made for? You want to live that goddamn life perfect, amazing. I'm not going to chase you down the street and say, no, how can I work really hard to get you inside of this program? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. The program is the program, and the landing page is impeccable. You click on that landing page, you scroll down, you're going to learn exactly what you're going to get out of every single module. I did my job. Mercedes did their job by telling me about the features. As a woman in relationships and in love, I do my job by being genuine and authentic, by being truthful about who I am and how I feel and what I want and what I desire and what I have to offer in terms of my personality. My offering is who I am. The reason why you should marry me and spend the rest of your life with me is because of who I am. I am a genuine, authentic woman who is genuinely and authentically committed to living a life of happiness, peace, safety, security, excitement, growth, evolution, expansion, and wealth in like every single fucking area of her life. If that's what you want and that's what you desire and that's what sounds good to you and that's something that you're committed to, you're already convinced, then perfect. You're not convincing people when you're selling. You are identifying compatibility and making an agreement on an equal exchange of energy. You want to learn how to receive? You want to learn how to develop your self-worth? Great. I have a course that can teach you that. We're compatible. I'm selling the course for $2,000. Are you willing to pay $2,000? Perfect. We're compatible. You get inside the program. You transform your fucking life again and again and again and again and again. You use the content and the teachings forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And you use it to reach your next level, and then the level after that, and then the level after that. And it becomes who you are and how you live and how you show up. And that's that on that. There is no room for him and Han. I mean, you can him and haw, but you can't him and haw in the fucking waiting room of the dealership. Duh. It closes, you know? There is no room for men who don't know if they're going to show up, don't know if they want it, aren't really 100% convinced. Got so much going on in my career right now. This terrible thing happened to me, and my grandma did this when I was 12 years old. You know, hey, trauma is real. It's real. It's impactful. I understand that. I understand that deeply. I understand that completely. You're not in the place where you're ready to move through it, or you're at a place where you have moved through it enough to actually open up and experience that loving connection and be vulnerable with another human being. I get that. I understand that. We're not making a deal today. You're not driving off this lot with the big body Benz today. Like, what the fuck else can I say? There's nothing else for me to say. There's nothing else for me to do. Because the second that I start messing with what they have going on, the second you start going, well, the reason why he's not showing up in the relationship is because he doesn't love himself, and what he really needs to do is work on this and this and this. Oh no. The second you're doing that, you're showing up in a codependent way. You're showing up with a lack of boundaries. Because that's not your job. That's not your jurisdiction. What he feels worthy of and what he's ready to receive and what he's open to, that's none of your business. What do you believe about what men want? Because when you're showing up trying to convince them to want you, when you're showing up trying to convince them to choose you, you want to choose me as your wife because this, and this, and this. It's because part of you thinks that you're not good enough. And or part of you thinks that they don't want you. Part of you thinks that men don't want commitment. Part of you thinks that men don't want to marry you. Part of you thinks that men don't want the relationship. They're not committed. They're not all in. And so you have to convince them. You have to work to get them to see things your way and get them to agree with you. Fuck that. Fuck that. This is a Mercedes. What more is there to say, bitch? Hello? You've had a conversation with the girl. You've already taken the car for a test drive. That's all we got for you. You've listened to the podcast episodes. You've watched the videos. You've gotten tuned in, tapped in, turned on to her energy. You've experienced the free resource library. That's all we got for you. There's your test drive. Did you grow? Did you heal? Did you elevate? Did you change? Did you shift? Did you see things differently? I'm sure you did, because, you know, I'm the shit and all. That's it. You either want the Mercedes or you don't. And it doesn't matter if one particular person doesn't want the Mercedes. Because guess who wants a fucking Mercedes? Millions. Guess who's showing up to work, putting money aside every single paycheck to get that Mercedes? Millions. Guess who wants a relationship with a woman who is brilliant and talented and hilarious and who is deeply and completely committed to peace and levity and enjoyment and wealth and safety and security? Millions. I know this for a fact. If you ever find yourself in an energy of convincing, You're showing up to the interview pretending to be something that you're not. You're showing up to the interview talking and speaking and tailoring the ways that you talk about your experience so that you can convince them to hire you. You're showing up from a misaligned energy. You got to respect yourself. You have to honor yourself. You have to like yourself. You have to love yourself. This is who I am. This is my work experience. This is what I know that I can do. If it works for you and it works for me, let's sign a deal. Let's get this shit done. This is who I am. This is how I love. This is how I love myself. This is the kind of life that I want to create for myself. If this is in alignment with you and what I desire is also in alignment with you and who I desire is in alignment with you, then let's get this shit done. And let that be that. And that's about letting it be easy. That's ease. You make shit more complicated. I love that Taylor Swift song, Mastermind. You got to cut it out though. Don't need it. Don't have time for it. There is no time to be a manipulative woman because it's a waste of your time. When there's a man out there in the world who doesn't need to be convinced, and there's a company or corporation out there in the world that doesn't need to be convinced, and there's a client out there in the world that doesn't need to be convinced, so you can live the rest of your life convincing, or you could choose to create ease. And that's quite literally exactly what I'm teaching you how to do inside of module 2 of the receiver's mindset. Oh, it's so good. I literally started going through module 2 today because I needed it. Inside of module 2, you're learning how to create a life where you feel safe to be yourself and where you're surrounded by people that like who you authentically are. You're learning how to attract and surround yourself with people who are eagerly prioritizing seeing you, connecting with you, working with you, and taking care of you. You're learning how to believe that you naturally belong within the group of people who have what you desire. So like, I belong with wealthy people. I belong with successful people. I belong with successful coaches. I belong with multimillionaires, whatever. You were made for your every desire. This is how you heal and shift imposter syndrome. And then the last thing you're learning in module 2 is my empowering forgiveness process, which is an exercise that's really powerful to clear stagnant energy, make space to receive, and establish new expectations around the relationships that you're choosing to create. It's super duper powerful. I would highly recommend it. You can use it for business. You can use it for friendship. You can use it for romance. You can use it for any fucking thing. Okay. That's all that I have for you today. And if you want even more support around this, of course, you can check out the Receiver's Mindset. But before the Receiver's Mindset, tomorrow, Tuesday, October 29th through Thursday, October 31st, I am hosting a free 3-day live training, and it is called Sorry Not Settling. And this powerful program is made to take the determined woman from dissatisfied to satiated in every aspect of her life. You can learn more, you can get the schedule, you can understand exactly what you're going to leave with every single day, and you can register for free by using the link in the description. I love you so much. I hope that this helped you. I hope that this served you. Let me know if it did in the comments. Send me emails, send me DMs on Instagram. And if by any chance you're listening to this audio after Sorry Not Settling has closed for that free enrollment period, you can access the Sorry Not Settling training and replay as a bonus inside of the Receiver's Mindset course. And if the Receiver's Mindset course is closed, then join the waitlist and get access to it next year. Okay. I love you, and I'll talk to you in the next one.